Hey guys, Greasy Bear here, and today I want to show you how to create this really cool and crazy busy cityscape using a particle setup in Blender. I'll show you the dark atmosphere and the unique lighting setup as well. Also in this scene, I'll be using a brand new KitBash3D kit named Goliath. It has a really cool futuristic Art Deco feel to me, which works well with this particular scene I'm creating. So check that out on KitBash3D.com. Okay, so getting started here, I have the Blender file open, and I'm only going to use the taller buildings from the scene. So I'm going to go to the top view, and I'm going to delete the first two rows, which are accessories and smaller buildings. The other buildings in front here look really small as well. However, I'm trying to get it as busy as I can, so we're going to keep them. Also, every building in this file is linked. So you're going to have to right-click, unlink it, select the objects from the link, and then have join them, and then move that building out of the way. So once again, you're going to right click the link, unlink, select the objects from the link, and join them. Move that building out of the way. So one more time, right click the link, unlink, select the objects from the link, and join them. Okay, now that you understand what I'm doing, let me go ahead and get these done. Okay, now that we're down to the last one and we're joining it, perfect. The next thing we're going to do here is we're going to start sizing these up to be about the same size. So each building needs to be scaled to about the same size, give or take a little bit. Let me save this file real quick. I already started it, so let me just save that. So now I'm just going to kind of, size these up so they all fit kind of in the same. Doesn't matter where they sit on the axis because we're going to change the origin next. But pretty much I'm going to size these up real quick and get them all about the same size. Okay, with that being done, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to select the first building and we're going to select origins. Then I'm going to go to vertex and we're going to snap to it. So what we're going to do is now we're going to grab the origin on each one of these and drag them to the bottom, because when we create the particle system, we want everything to sit on the bottom of the particle system. So just keep dragging all these to the bottom, every one individually. And this is good. Let me get these done here. And that's it. That's perfect. Now, next thing we're going to do is going to turn origins off. And we're going to save the file. And these little buildings here, we're going to get rid of. We're going to get rid of that one because they're not going to be as tall as the others. And then we're going to line, oh, wait a minute, what's going on here? Okay, hold on. I have the vertex and the snapping on, so I'm just going to move these to the side. Perfect. Now I'm just going to get these out of the way, separate them a little bit more. And yeah, that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to make a new collection. I'm going to drag everything, drop it in the new collection. And then I'm going to move everything in the collection out of the way. I'm going to create a plane, and I'm going to zoom in on the plane. Okay, this is kind of wacky. This was the KitBash file. So let me start a new file, copy everything, paste it into a new file, and start a plane now so I have control. Okay, yeah. Now this is better. The KitBash file was a little weird. So anyway, now you want to go into your, okay, it came in without a collection. So I'm going to have to actually make a new collection and drag everything in there but the plane. And then we're going to select the plane. We're going to add a particle system. It's going to be hair. It's going to be advanced. We're going to select rotation. Render. We're going to render as a collection. Now we're going to pick the collection we just did. So yeah, it kind of worked. It does work. The whole thing is it's very, very huge. And let me rotate these. And then I'm going to go to the rotation up here and global Y. And yeah, we're good now on the particle system. However, the buildings are so huge that they're just overlapping. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to select everything in that collection. I'm going to move it closer to the plane because we're going to reduce these, and the smaller we make these is the smaller they show up on the plane. So If you take a look at the plane now, I'm just moving this closer so I have room to work with. But if you get to the plane now, yeah, you'll start seeing the city. And yeah, this looks pretty cool. And that's working. So I'm going to select the plane. I'm going to scale it up. So now it starts to look like you're in the city, which is really cool. And I'm just going to start tweaking the setup here to get me in the city. And as you can see, there's still some empty spaces on the plane. So I can always go into the particle setup, and I can show you here that it has 1,000, and we're going to make it 10,000. And yeah, that really fills up the plane. And it starts to get rough to move around when you have this many hairs on your particle system. So, plus there's a seed setup. I'm going to hit this one seed. That looks kind of cool. And then I can turn this off, and then I can add a camera and set up my camera to just a plane, and maybe go back to turning on the particle system. And then what I'm going to do is grab the camera here, or maybe not the camera, but I am going to try to adjust some things here. So I'm going to do the camera to view, and I'm going to slowly move this up. And it is kind of chunky because there's so much going on, but okay, this is working. Okay, now that I got to the city, now I'm going to zoom in a little bit to kind of like put me in there. Now these buildings here are sticking really tall out the top, so they kind of look uneven. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go back to, I'm going to turn the particle system off. I'm going to go back to the collection, and I'm going to find those tall buildings, and I'm just going to kind of like make them smaller. Like this one needs to come down. This one needs to come down. This one can come up a little. Yeah. And then actually, now that I'm looking to the left, they're all a little big. So let me grab these and this here and just shrink them down a little bit more. And there you go, because now they're going to work here. Okay, so now it should look a lot different because I shrunk those bigger buildings down to match the other buildings. So here you go, and that's what we got. So now you see a lot more rooftops, and it looks a little bit more even and a little bit more realistic. So let's try and adjust it a little bit more. I turned off the preview so it's easier to move the plane around. Once I get an idea, I can move the focal length of the camera. Once I feel like I got an idea, I can go back and turn the particle system on. That looks uneven, so I'm going to even that out. So let's take a look at what we have. So yeah, we're getting there. That looks pretty decent. Let me turn it back off, and let me adjust it a little bit more. I'm going to raise the camera some. I'm just kind of tweaking the settings in order to, get a good angle on the city itself. Let me change this to cycles, GPU, set 250. I'm going to do the optics, noise, denoising, and 2540 and 1440. These are my renders. Okay, so yeah, I'm kind of set up. Let me do the light passes. I do 4, 1, 1, 1, 4. That works for me. And let's see what else we got here. Okay, yeah, that's about it. Performance looks good, and yeah, that works for me. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to, let's see here, sorry, my particle system, and turn it back on. And now I got a good scene here. It looks kind of cool. So I'm going to go to my world. I'm going to turn Pro Skies Lighting on, or Pro Lighting Skies. Pick an overcast setting, and I don't know, this one looks cool. Use this one here. Make it high res, of course. And then the advanced settings, it'll allow me to adjust the horizon on this. So I could just take a look and see where we're at right now. So yeah, we're kind of, the horizon's off, and it looks like the city's off, or maybe it's just horizon. Yeah, so there you go. That looks good. So let me go back to the camera and let me see. No, it looked like it was okay where it was. Just a little bit, maybe a little bit more. You know what? I'm going to put it back where it was. That looks pretty good to me. So yeah, that's kind of cool. All right. So moving on, I'm going to check the sky, and I'm going to add some more sun, and I'm going to rotate this to see what angle the light hits the city the best. And let me see here. This looks pretty cool. So I'm going to lower it to 0.3. Now I'm going to lower this to 0.1. So now we got the overcast really dark. So now I'm going to add a light, an area light, and then I'm going to flip it 180 so it's facing straight up. And I should be able to turn this up to about 20 or 30 or something. And yeah, I'm not seeing anything right now. So let me turn the camera to view off. Let me see what we got going on here. You know what it could be. Let me go into this mode. Check this out. And oh yeah, I think I have too many. You know what? 10,000 hairs is probably way too much on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the camera view, and I'm going to go to the actual particle setting, and I'm going to drop this from 10,000 to 3,000, and still gives me a lot of stuff going on. But let's see if I got light now. So there we go. Okay, so yeah, I have some light now. So what I'm going to do is let's make this 100. There we go. Now it's starting to work. So basically, I'm going to make this a rectangle, and I'm probably just going to stretch it out a little bit so it covers more of the area. Increase it a little bit more. That looks pretty good. And once I'm happy with that, I can probably just, let's see, go back to this mode. I'm going to turn it on its side. Then I'm going to make a duplicate of that light setup and just kind of move it forward. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start randomly. Let's adjust this down a little bit to 75 or so. Let's see what we get here. Maybe even 20. Actually, I'm going to make it a little bit of an orangey to kind of brownish to kind of reflect the actual concrete on the buildings and all. So that looks kind of cool. So yeah, this is starting to come out pretty nice. So I'm going to make another dupe of this. I'm just going to move it over here randomly. And I'm going to move it down and just kind of keep the render view up so I can see kind of what I'm doing here. I'm actually going to resize this more like a square because we're getting up closer into the front here. And yeah, raise it up. There you go. Now you can see it. See, it was underneath the ground, but now I can see it. So yeah, this is starting to work out pretty well. So I'm going to take another area light, and let's see, I'm going to go for the 20 watt and make it 50. Yeah, that's starting to look cool. So it's starting to light up all around the city. And you don't really know where the light's coming from, but it just looks like the whole city's illuminated. So I'm going to place this another one randomly up front. And yeah, this looks pretty cool too. I don't want to get it too bright in the center or in the front because then it'll look kind of weird. Yeah, like that's looking a little bit too bright. So I'm just going to move this around randomly until I find a good spot. Maybe adjusting the wattage on the bulb is working, or just the size of it so it's not too large. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. It's coming together. Let me try and drop this to 10. It's still too bright to me. It's still a little bright. So I'll keep adjusting this, actually lowering this into the ground. And let's just completely 5, maybe even 0 it out. And maybe we'll put 5 back, or 10. Looks about better. Something like that. It's starting to work. So I'm going to save the file, and I'm going to close everything else that was opened and jump back into this soul file here. Let me see. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to save it. And in here, I'm going to turn this off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a cube. And I'm going to make the cube cover the area, because we're going to add some volumetrics here. We're going to add this dark atmosphere. So I'm going to do this by creating a cube, put a little bit in the front of the camera. I'm going to make it a wireframe in the viewport display. We're going to make a wire. And then under the shading, I'll say new. I'm going to delete that. And then I'm going to add a volume shader or a volume scatter. And I'm going to pump a little number in here and see what it comes out to be. So zoom in and hit it. Just give us an idea of what it's going to look like, and we'll take it from there. Wow, this seems to really be crunching numbers. Okay, so yeah, that's a good volume scatter. I like that. Now what we can do is we can go back to the plane, and we're going to go back to, I want to say, okay, we're going to go back here, and I'm going to turn on the scene, turn on the particle system. And yeah, that looks pretty damn good. I like the way that's looking. It's got all the dark atmosphere in the back. And we can play with this a little bit. Add some. Yeah, okay, this is good. So about 0.5, that's looking really busy back there. And it's not giving me a good view with the denoising. However, we're going to purge all our orphans, and we're going to go over here and save it one more time. And then we're going to pretty much, I believe, check the render settings, which is all good to go. And let's give it a render. And I'm doing this real time so you guys can get the idea on the render time. But wow, it's starting to look pretty good. Absolutely. That looks pretty sharp. Okay, I love the lighting in the front now. It looks really nice. It looks just as bright as the other buildings in the back, but the atmosphere is actually tackling that, making it look dark. It actually looks like it's raining a little bit further in the back there, and it's working its way up to the foreground here. But yeah, this is rendering pretty damn quick and looking pretty damn good. Yeah, that looks like a bunch of rain in the back there, and it's coming up to the front here. So it looks like we're about to get rain. This looks really good. Wow, look at that render. That's really nice, guys. That is really sharp. Well, I hope this video helped you out and gives you an idea on how to do all this, and it's really cool. So maybe we'll render it a little bit higher res here and, see what we get here. So I want to thank everybody for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope this helped you out in particle systems and using a KitBash3D Kit in order to do a cityscape that's like real crazy, busy looking, and and really cool with the lighting and the atmosphere all at the same time. So this really worked well together and it came together really cool. This is why I decided to make this video. It was really fun to do, and I wish it would render just a little bit faster, but this is the idea, guys, and I hope this really helps you out. And I thank you for watching, and I'm just going to let this render, and you guys have a good day.